and
Are we on?
the banana bread.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Fisher from the Rock Church, and we're here with week 3, or final week of creativity, Microclass. So it's been fun. Thanks for joining us. I went all out with my creative socks, my cat in a hat socks. The funny thing is underneath my tongue, he's got his hands like this. So I guess we could say the cat cut my tongue. But yeah, one of the teachers gave these to me as a gift, and I thought, what a great day to wear them to our creative class. So we're learning to be creative. Does anybody have any insights or anything they want to share about the last couple weeks exploring creativity?
About her welding.
Yes.
No, I did whatever day, Wednesday, when I was doing my Bible study and stuff in the morning, and I was reading 2 Samuel 6, and that was when David was bringing the ark into the Jerusalem and stuff, and he's dancing around and all crazy, and he was just doing like everybody else. He was doing it for the Lord, and then his wife looked out and saw him, and like disdainful, and it's a kind of reiterated. We were talking about not everybody understands your creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about creativity takes work, it takes time, it takes doing stuff new, it takes being uncomfortable, right? And being out doing things that, others might look down upon, but it's okay. And, the other thing is we can't let other people change our lives, right? Like we talked about what other people say have the ability to hinder us, or they have ability to push us further, right? The choice is ours. And be like, well, no, you're absolutely wrong, and I'm going to push through. Or, yeah, you're right, I am no good. I am not an artist. I'm this, I'm not that. And creativity can't be put in a box, right? Like, it's open. And, we always try to put labels on creativity. Well, just because you do this makes you creative. Well, just because you do that makes you creative. Gene, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was out at Northmoreland Park the other day. I was waiting on Delma to wake up from her, her daily nap. But she works at night. And I'm sitting there listening to these couple mothers. The kids were playing in the playground there, and how they were kind of pushing their kids to go on, you can do it, you can get up there, And then when the child would do what they were supposed to be doing, the mothers would laugh and clap, and I thought that was pretty neat. That's creating. That's making a child know that they can do it.
Absolutely.
We do stuff like that for him all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's usually a big deal.
Yeah.
Like climbing a rock wall.
Yeah, like
Oh, that was so neat that night. Yeah.
We went out to dinner last night, and his favorite food is pizza. He would eat pizza 7 days a week with that.
He usually does.
So we got him a little personal pizza. Usually we cut it up and then we eat it with a fork. We wanted to eat last night, so we're like, just pick it up and eat it. He ate all night, holding his own pizza. We were clapping.
Nice. That's
It
good.
was so awesome.
Yeah, so
and
that's creating then.
yeah, it is. And I think too, sometimes we need to do that to our friends and people, is cheer them on, and really, we see that's where sometimes I get stuck with creativity, is as far as well, I didn't get praised for this, so we need to make sure that we're praising people and letting them know that, hey, you did a good job, and we don't want to quench their creativity and you know, or if they do something creative and it just completely bombs, let them know that, listen, it's okay, you know, like it happens. Like, not everything I do is great, you know.
Well, how many times we start different things back here, and it just went, you know,
Yeah,
just a plain coffee shop
sure.
without the donuts. I don't know if you were here when we were doing that or not.
No, I was
There
not.
was different things we started back here, and they just didn't work out.
Yep,
So we just tried something else.
yep, and, you know, and that, I don't know if this is creativity or not, but what you said there, like some things work, some things don't.
Yeah.
You know, you really need to listen to God, and you might not understand things when He tells you certain stuff. Anytime I buy major purchases, I try to consult God. Even though, like, some of the minor purchases, I'll consult Him too. So, like, I was looking for a car, and I was praying this car in for a couple weeks, right? And, you know, I heard Him tell me, I'm gonna get an offer on Thursday. Whatever it is, I have to say no to. He didn't tell me whether it was gonna have anything to do with the car. He just said, you're gonna get somebody with an offer, you need to tell them no. I'm like, okay, this is weird, right? So I get a call on Thursday that week from Pastor Terry. And this was years ago. And he was looking at a building in Arnold. And he said, hey, are you willing to take the church over if I was to, you know, we bought this building and I pastored there, you take this one
I
over
remember
here.
that.
And I'm like, well, guess what? I'm like, I don't know, but God told me I was going to get a question today and I had to say no. And so the answer is no. I find out like a year or so later that I saved him from one of the biggest mistakes that could have happened. The building, found out later that the building was dilapidated. It was a mistake. It was not the right time. And it was not the right move on either of our parts. And, you know, so I guess the creative part is the fact that I listened to God and the way He told me, you know, no, He never really told me, go and buy this car. It's just we went to the dealership, found one I liked, and, you know, I test drove two, and the one felt right, and I bought it. He, you know, I never got the yes about the car, but I got a no about, you know, about that. And he did that one other time, which I was glad it didn't end up going through, but he wanted to see if I was going to say yes anyway. And I don't know, it was a Thursday again. He likes Thursdays, I guess. And he says, this is when my son was in band, and they were going to go on field trip to Disney. Me and high school students, I'm not a fan. Like, you know, like we just don't connect like I do with the younger ones. Would I do it? Would I be cool with them? Absolutely, you know. But I don't connect like I do with the younger age group. So I really didn't want to go on a field trip. Well, I didn't think that was going to be the question, but turns out that Thursday I get a message, and you know, like I said, God said, say yes, right? I get a message from the band boosters woman, and she says, hey, would you be willing to be a chaperone for Disney or wherever their trip was going to be? It might not have been Disney, but regardless of the band trip. And I'm like, yes, I will. Well, they ended up it didn't go through, so they didn't end up going, so I didn't have to go do it, but I had to say what God told me to, which was yes, and that was a hard thing to say, and you know, sometimes with the creativity, it's hard too. What I'm gonna do tonight is gonna be hard because I told you guys I started playing the guitar, right? And I got asked to play the guitar. I'm not good at, by any means, of the guitar. But because I'm teaching us to get out of our comfort zone tonight, I'm gonna play the guitar. And then I'm gonna do something that I am good at, is a little science experiment.
I
But-
want to show you something that my
Yeah.
son created.
Okay,
I already showed her. I took it from my kitchen window, so it's not very big. It's down to the.
all right, so what have we got? Jean's son created, is that a birdhouse?
Yes, it is.
I don't know if you
Holds
guys can
12
see
birds.
it.
It holds 12 birds.
Yeah, well, you know, it holds 12 birds,
They're already, some of them's already nesting
so
in
that's pretty cool. And who is that, you said?
my son Paul.
Your son Paul. Nice.
He lives in a hotel.
And,
That's just out of scrap material.
yeah. Yeah, so today's kind of just exploring creativity, maybe touch a little bit on using it for God's kingdom. I found this quote from the Unstuck group, which they talk about the unstuck church and
I have
talk
that.
about how to get unstuck, where you're at that, you know, barrier where you plateaued, how do you get out of it? And, you know, it's really good. There were some good things in it. But this says, we can be sure that creativity is acceptable in the church. It's not a waste of time or money, and it's not simply a means to an end. It's a perfectly valid expression of our worship to God, and also an important reflection of our identity as image bearers of the creation. I think that's really cool. Exploring your creativity is not a waste of time or money, you know, which sometimes, I mean, you gotta be careful on how much money you waste on your creativity. That's a different story, you know? But if you're smart about it and you save and you do those kinds of things, then, you know, you're not wasting your money. But, yeah, and it's not a waste of time. And just because somebody else doesn't think what you're doing is creative or is a good thing doesn't mean it's not, right? And, yeah, I put this down and I didn't need to. So, I got some questions. These are questions to kind of ask yourself. I mean, leading how to use my creativity for God, for God's kingdom. You know, as far as the guitar goes, I don't know how God wants me to use it. I enjoy playing it, so I'm just playing it. And sometimes I'll play it, just play the notes that I know and strum the way I strum, and I'll sing to God. And that'll be my prayer. And maybe that's all that God wants me to do with it, is just a release, you know, who knows. But I enjoy doing it, so I'm gonna do it. But what do you like to do? What things, you know, do you like to do? And then ask yourself is, how can I use that for God? So I don't know if I shared online or shared after class, but I'm into RC trucks, remote control trucks, like the big hobby grade, fast ones. And, you know, I asked God, how can I, you know, use them for him? And my opinion is you buy more. It's like a tattoo. Once you get one, you got to keep getting them. So, but it, but yeah, I mean, like, I've got 4 now that work. I got a 5th one that's broken, but you know, I've been using them, like my wife and I now, we drive them together. So that's helping our personal relationship, but God wants me to use it more from outside the home, right? So I have some of the kids from my kids' church have come over to my house, and we have stuff to do, and we, you know, I take some of them out. There's an RC park not too far from here, and we'll go up there for the day and stuff. And so that's kind of how I'm using those for God. And who knows, but yeah, how can you use that for God? And then this is the big one. This is the big one for especially when you're trying to decide, okay, I want to serve at the church. I want to give my time and I want to give my creativity. What kind of people do you have a heart for? So basically what I'm talking about is, who are the types of people that your heart aches, you break, you feel bad for, or not bad, but you feel sorry for, or you just love being around them. Some people just get joy being around older people. You know, maybe some people get joy. Some people get joy being around young kids like me. Some people have a heart for those who have been, through drugs and stuff like that. So where is your heart? So those are some things that you need to ask God and talk to Him, and then so I think that's about all I have for that one. Any questions on any of that? Thoughts?
Well, I believe that God took and put me in a position driving those buses and stuff to talk to those young kids. There's a couple of them that come here now. Seth is one of them.
Nice.
And the other one was from my van when I took the special kids, to Leechburg. So I believe that was my
Yeah.
thing to do.
And you know what? No matter where you're at, God can use you.
Mm-hmm.
And, I asked when I was at my previous job for 20 years, after I gave my life back to Christ, I started asking, God, how can you use me here? And all the, after years of just sharing my life, I never really preached the gospel to anybody. I didn't quote unquote witness, I was just me. I was who God made me, which is, happy, and, He's got everything under control. Well, that showed through, and one of my friends asked me the question, why are you like this? Bad stuff happens, this place is miserable, I'm miserable, things are miserable. How can you be like this? And that opened up a door, and I would talk to her, give her talks about it, I don't know, probably 2, 3, 4 years. And then finally, she told me she started getting into God a little bit and digging a little bit deep, and my boss would always come to me when he had some kind of tough questions. He's like, listen, I know you're a God-fearing, truthful, honest man, and he's like, I value your opinion. And so those are the ways we can use ourselves at work, even when it's a work we're not happy with and don't want to be in. But I'm happy and thankful that I finally made that move, and I'm at a place that I'm happy to be in. And so let's see. And then lastly, we're going to talk about where I can serve in the church. And, because we see certain things, and we also see it looks like everything runs like a well-oiled machine. And it looks like you've got everything under control, all whatever, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but in the background, you don't realize there's one person spinning plates on a stick, trying to keep them all going, right? You're, even though it looks like the places are filled, there's always vacancies, and there's always things that can be done. And I've got a list, and the list isn't just what's on this list, because there's so much more, and that's where you use your creativity and be like, hey, I'm really good at, and okay, well, talk to one of the pastors here and, say, hey, I can do this and things like that. But One of them obviously is the worship up on stage, whether you can play an instrument, sing a song.
Yeah, we're gonna be needing a drummer.
We're needing a drummer.
Yeah, he's leaving us.
Okay,
He's
is he?
on IUP.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I thought he was,
No, he's on IUP.
Yeah,
oh, I
I
heard
see.
he was moving, you know.
So one bad
Eventually.
drawback to having young musicians up there.
Yeah.
My son was a drummer before Blaze,
Yeah.
so, you know, but it's good to have the young kids up on the stage
Oh,
too.
yeah.
You know, oh, and speaking of worship, like, we need somebody to run the words. I ran the words for a while. It doesn't just have to be kids. Kids do it because no adults have stepped up, you know, to do it. So it's okay. But yeah, there's stuff like that. The sound system, lighting. We've got great lights in this church if somebody is good with that. Outreach. I mean, there's so much that we do with outreach with our bounce houses and rock walls and snow cones and cotton candy and hot dogs and nachos and, you know, foam cannons and
Yeah. I go
and
do
the
that.
Jane McAfoo's bungee jump coming soon.
I couldn't get rid of the kids in that foam.
Oh, apparently I don't spell very well because number C, I have grater. And I'm like, what is a grater? Yeah, I meant greeter.
Great.
Yeah, a greeter.
Spelled it creatively.
Yeah.
What's that?
You spelled it creatively.
Yeah, I spelled it creatively. I didn't misspell it. You're right. I spelled it creatively.
We're gonna grade them people.
But yeah, greeters at the door. You love people. You love to be, you know, you're like, but you need to have a nice smiling face. You know, you don't want somebody greeting people like, hey. You know, nothing's worse than when you walk into Walmart and you get this. So I'm coming this way. The person's right here. Hi, welcome to Walmart. I'm here, not over there. Like, it drives me nuts. It doesn't bother my wife any. She doesn't want to be talked to by anybody. So she's like, hey, I'm like, I want to be greeted. I want to walk through the door and then to shoot up fireworks and things for
You
me.
have the full
Welcome!
Yeah.
Red carpet.
In fact, my coworkers did that for me the other day. I walk into the break room and they're like, well, so I'm work at a school. We're all usually go by our last names. And, you know, because the kids call us Mr. and Mrs. And I walk in and they all yell, Fisher! So it was great. It was cool. It made me feel good. That's what I expect when I come to Walmart. And I think that's, so,
I would do that up at the bus garage. When I'd walk in the morning,
Yeah.
there's people in there, here I am.
and you know,
I
some
lift
people,
everybody else up.
some people claim they don't like it, but deep down you know that they needed it, right?
That woke them up, because I know there's gonna be driving and they need to be waking up.
Absolutely. And you know what? Life's too short to be serious, is the way I look
You're
at it.
right, Tony.
You know, and at the school, I put the fun in fundamentals. This is the way I look at it, you know.
I like the word Shirokta.
Shirakta, yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah,
Shirokta.
that was Pastor Mel that came up with that one from Summit. Let's see, lawn care. You know, we definitely, you know, you're good with the weed whacker or good with the blade.
They
you
took
know.
all that away from me. My kids.
Yeah, maintenance, you know, like the pipes and the electric and, you know, things like that. I know none of that. And there's somebody else that's creative that does know that stuff, right? And if you're that, jump in, you know. Youth group, kids church, nursery, can help Jean. Not that Jean's in the nursery, but she does need help.
She gets outnumbered.
Cleaning, even like cleaning the church.
You'd be surprised how long it takes to clean this church.
Yeah,
I used to do it.
starting a ministry group. You know, we've got like a men's group going, and I don't know if we have anything else right now, but you know, yeah, if that's something on your heart, maybe you know you have on your heart young adults. That's you know something. Another way to use your creativity is maybe you have a big house and you don't have anybody living in it, but you rent it out or allow kids, college kids or whatever, to come and stay. You know, it's stuff like what brought that up is my youngest son is in Ocean City, Maryland on an internship, and one of the houses he's staying at is the guy owns a house and he's got 3 rooms and he rents all of them out for the summer for this job, and he's used to, I don't know if he used to work there or he still works at the police department, but he you know, rents these out, and it's really helpful for him because he needed a place to stay, and he's 21, so he doesn't need much. He's like, I'm happy with a bed, and, you know.
Just a room.
So, yeah, I mean,
Well,
think
that's
about
what
that.
Grace did in Indiana there. She was staying
Oh.
with an older couple.
Yes, that's absolutely, yeah, you're right.
Huh?
Tricia
Oh, I
John,
don't
yeah.
know. Well, they're
Yeah.
older than her.
Yeah.
I've never met them, but the way she talked about it, they were older, but I don't know. How old are they? Oh, you're right.
Older. I think, yeah, Trisha's turned 60.
Well, see,
She has
she is.
party and stuff,
She's
so.
young. To me, she's young.
Right?
I don't act my age, that's why.
To me, I'm young, so, you
Okay.
know,
It's just a number.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some days it's 110, some days it's
but, yeah, so I guess, now, before I get into the guitar, any questions on any of it? All right, so now we're gonna just end with a little bit of creativity, a little bit of fun. So this is Brown Eyed Girl from Van Morrison. I did not learn the beginning. Dun-dun, dun, dun-dun, dun-dun, dun, dun-dun, dun, dun, dun. I didn't learn that part, so I'm just doing chords. And when I was practicing it last night, I found it was better to just do the verses in a standard, just 4 strokes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the chorus, I can get a little fancy, but it just sounded, it was a little too messy to do the whole song that way. So it's like, you know, the other thing too is know your limits, right? And, you know your limits, surpass them, or use them, you know, to your advantage, because I don't want to come up here and be like, what is that, you know? And that's what it's starting to sound like. I'm like, okay, but then when I got to the actual chorus, it was like, my hand just went right into the strum pattern. So I'm like, okay. So enjoy. And like I said, it's not the best. We got there'll be some pauses in between going from one chord to the next. But here we go. We're still on. Am I all in? Okay.
You're not gonna sing it for us.
No, I can't. Haven't gotten there yet.
Oh,
Because of the last one here. So,
Good job.
obviously that wasn't the
I
whole
don't know
thing.
the
but-
words, so.
What's
I-
that?
I don't know the words, so it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, I have a hard time, trying to know where the words and my chords go. And, which word goes with this one and such, but, yeah, so that was my little ditty. And, who says ditty anymore?
Jack and Diane.
That's funny. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to end, with a little bit of fun, just to, show you a little bit of what we can do and a little bit of what God can do with what we give him. And, in a minute here, let me get enough of this stuff. Yeah, there we
What
go.
is that stuff?
All right, so this is potassium
Manganese.
permanganate. Yep,
Whoa,
okay.
you do that, huh?
So isn't that cool? Turns it purple, right? We're all happy about our creativity, what we can do. Look at this, God, I'm so amazing, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cool. Some people were impressed. Some were like, really? I could do that with a little bit of food coloring, But, sometimes we get that way. We're like, yeah, look how awesome and amazing. Look at my bubbles. It's like Lawrence Welk.
Weston didn't see the bubbles.
But here's the cool part. Let's swirl that soap around a little bit. Okay? 'Cause then, when we use our creativity or use whatever it is that we give to God, he can multiply it. He can make it grow.
Oh, all over your papers too. Yay. I'll give you a hand for that.
Thanks. Don't worry, I'll clean it all up. The second Tuesday of next week. I'll clean it.
It's like some kind of chocolate swirls.
Right.
It's still burbling.
Yeah, so it's a thermo reaction as well. You can look, there's a steam coming off of it, so it's hot. But yeah, so that, and that liquid that I poured in there was hydrogen peroxide. That was food grade 12%, which shoots it up pretty high. They make a 35%, which shoots up even higher. But that one's an outdoor only one, so this one maybe should have been too. But it's all right. I'll clean the mess up.
Yeah. Good thing Shannon's not here this week.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Shannon's
anyway,
not here.
I guess that's it. We better get some water on this stuff. And thanks for joining us for the last 3 weeks. And enjoy your evening. Goodbye.